we talked about toxins. We talked about gluten today. We talked about so many other things. So another very important thing that's being bombarded to us every minute is non-native EMF. We are surrounded with so much of non-native EMF coming from all sources. We cannot run away from it. We cannot go and live in a forest. So we need to have strategies in place so that we can protect our body, our mitochondria, from the damage that the non-native EMF can do to our body. So I have Mr. Neehar with us. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's an engineer by background, and he's a co-founder of LiveSAFE, which is a company that provides complete wireless radiation assessment and evaluation services. So your house can be evaluated by them, and then they can have certain things in place which can protect your house from to reduce the exposure to the non-native EMF. So a warm welcome, Neehar.
Thank you so much for having me over. It's a pleasure to be here. I've listened to some amazing people talk. I just hope I can follow up with the kind of information and knowledge these people have given today. I'm going to start off with my presentation, if that's okay. Can I share my screen?
Yes, please. Yes.
So good afternoon, everyone. Can I request you to please switch off your mobile phones? No, I can't, because you won't do it. Everybody is hooked on to cell phones. Everybody is hooked on to wireless radiation in terms of Wi-Fi. Most of you are using your laptops or your devices using Wi-Fi. And this is something which has become so, pervasive in our environment today that it's just becoming so difficult to ignore. When I started studying the effects of wireless radiation about 8-9 years ago, most people laughed at me when I said that, hey, look, radiation can be harmful. And they said, there's nothing to, prove that it can be harmful. There's nothing that shows that it is harmful. And I actually quoted a 1972 study by the Polish Navy, which found that radar operators on ships had an occurrence of cancer 400% higher than other officers on the same ship. And this led to an 8-year study by the Polish government. And if you remember, some of you might be old enough to actually remember the Cold War era. The Soviets did not use microwave radiation for communication till the fall of the Berlin Wall. They were very aware of the effects of microwave radiation or electromagnetic radiation or radio frequency radiation. And they were very keen to protect their people from that. So I'm going to talk to you today about radiation. I'm just going to focus on 3 areas where we found that the effect is very high. The World Health Organization has actually classified microwave radiation as a carcinogen. So I'm going to talk to you about wireless radiation and the effect it has on cancer treatment, as well as on creating or causing cancer. I'm going to talk to you about microwave radiation and the effect it has on autism. And the third and most important one is infertility. So these are the 3 areas I'm going to focus on, but we've seen many more effects of microwave radiation. I talked to you today with a background of close to 2,000 audits, wireless radiation audits across India over the last 8-9 years. So although this is not a medically competent presentation, I've tried to incorporate as many anecdotes as I can to make it interesting for you. And I typically like to have an interactive session. I like questions, so please feel free. I will answer them as and when as I can. And I will try to keep a little bit of time at the end for Q&A. So I'm just going to explain what radiation is and why you need to be concerned. So you have 5G, you have cell towers, you have Wi-Fi routers, you have devices, you have IoT. So if you look at a home, office, hospital, or school, you have anywhere between 70 to 150 different signals of varying magnitudes in your environment. Now, all of these signals are in very high frequencies. Some of them can actually penetrate and go down to your bone marrow. That is the kind of frequencies you're looking at, and that's the kind of signal strength you're looking at. So there are medical, studies which conclusively show that these cause cancer. There's an American study which was published in 2018, which conclusively said that this is a carcinogen. There are studies which show that there is a direct correlation between autism spectrum disorders and high exposure to microwave radiation, especially in late pregnancy and early infancy of the child. Infertility is a huge problem we've seen. I've actually conducted a lot of seminars at software tech parks, etc. And one of the things we see amongst software engineers in our country is that there is a lot of infertility among them. And, this is highly ironic because being the most populous country in the world right now, we see that a lot of people are unable to conceive. And there's a large number of fertility clinics in practically every road. When I came to India in the 2000s from the US, you had software startups in every road in Bangalore. But today you have fertility clinics in every major road in Bangalore. And this is the grim reality we live in today. We've actually seen how microwave radiation, when you collimate it, it can be used to treat cancer effectively. This is clinically proven, accepted. A lot of people are spending a lot of money for treating cancer using microwave radiation. But what we have seen is cancer clusters. Let me talk to you about my personal experience. The largest cancer cluster I visited was in 2015-16, was in Noida. There were close to 2,500 people in adjacent houses opposite cell towers who had different types of cancer. They were unrelated. And, the cell tower actually makes a beam like a balloon. And wherever the beam was forming, you could actually see the beams, the primary lobes of the cell towers. You would see cancer patients. And this is something which affected people so badly that many of them went on to burn about 100 cell towers in that area because the government refused to remove them. This is the largest cancer cluster which we have seen. But we have seen smaller cancer clusters. And there's one in Bangalore, in a very populated, densely populated prime area, where we've actually seen a third generation cancer patient in a home. And this is something which, the first person started getting symptoms when the cell tower was put up in the 90s. His son got cancer, and then now the granddaughter has got cancer. So the primary person died a few years back. The son is critical. Now we're seeing the third generation. So this is something we're seeing, more and more in different communities. So, in terms of prevention, radiation management is critical. But also in terms of curing, in terms of patient management, radiation management becomes very, very, very important. We've actually seen that recovery for cancer patients can be speeded up by limiting their exposure to microwave radiation. So there was this case where, we were working with a cancer patient undergoing radiation therapy in a very, one of the sort of electronic, or shall I say, the corridor of technology in Bangalore. And that area was another minor cancer cluster. And unfortunately, this lady had to undergo cancer treatment. And she was suffering. She had a relapse and she was really suffering. And when the husband found out about us, he called us. We implemented the solution immediately. And actually, within 2 weeks, they were able to see the results of that. She was feeling much stronger, much better. She was recovering much faster. Her body was responding much better to the treatment. So this is something, of course, it's purely anecdotal. I don't have a way of measuring this and metrics. But what they said, made a huge difference. And another one was we did a house where there was a family, father, mother, 2 children. Children were, when we did this installation, they were about 7 and 9. And we did the installation. There was a cell tower bang opposite their house. and their bedroom and living areas were inundated with radiation. So we followed two standards globally, which we use to assess your radiation exposure. We follow a standard set by ICNIRP, International Commission for Non-Ionizing Radiation Protection. It's an international organization, and India is signatory to the ICNIRP treaty. So when India says that we are 1/10 in terms of transmission, in terms of radiation, and also your cell phone, they say it has to be 1.6 SAR, 1.6 watts SAR. That is as per ICNIRP standards. So India is signatory to that. We use the ICNIRP full body exposure standard, which is 0.08 watts per kg. We found that the radiation in their house was easily 10 times over what is considered highest acceptable. And we did our installation, and we had no idea, because the family looked all right. There was nothing they said. The family looked all right, but when we did the installation, we brought this down to about 0.02 microwatts, 0.02 watts per kg. And we showed them, as part of our engagement, we always do a post-installation audit, and same meter, same location, we show them the difference in radiation. So we showed them the radiation, we went and typically after 1 year, we do a follow-up to see if everything is okay. And that is when they invited us over. And the lady said she had autoimmune disorder, which has gone. She said both her children had non-malignant tumors, which she said have gone again. And again, this is one of the factors. They were undergoing treatment, they were undergoing other sorts of, healthy alternatives, etc. But this is one of the factors. And she's told us very specifically that the day, we finished the installation was when she started sleeping better. She started, feeling less sort of suffocated at home. And the children started, behaving better, being a little more relaxed at home. And this is something, we find typically in all the installations that we do. And we've done close to 1,000 across India right now. So autism is something which is, again, linked to exposure to microwave radiation. So we've done informal assessments, and I think we did a documentation of 300 cases of autism, and we wanted to know whether there was any relation to microwave radiation with them. And we just had a very simple qualifier: did you see a cell tower outside your window? And this was just the only question we asked. When did you see it? During pregnancy, after pregnancy, during your house? So that the time frame was there. And we found that out of the 300 children, the parents we spoke to, 267 had a cell tower outside their window. The ranges were in the last trimester of pregnancy to the first 6 months of the child's life. This was the most common of the 267. Some of them had it much longer. Some of them had it only for this period. But this was something which was kind of very disturbing for us, as well as eye-opening. And we started engaging with certain autism treatment agencies and organizations. And one of the things we found was when we limited the exposure of children, autistic children and adults, young adults and adults, to microwave radiations, their episodes reduced. So when I say episodes, I say violent episodes. I mean, depression, anxiety, all of these came down. The episodes came down consistently when we limited exposure to microwave radiation. When we were able to give them zero radiation rooms, so especially for violently autistic young adults, we found that the episodes came down from 2-3 a day to 1 in maybe a month and a half. That was a significant kind of difference which we saw. And again, this is anecdotal. There's no way I can medically prove that, but this is something we have seen. And I found many interesting. So I've compiled over 30,000 studies from 1970 with respect to effect of microwave radiation on people. And I was surprised to find out that in Santa Monica, there was a study which found that high radiation zones had clusters of autistic children. So like we have cancer clusters in India, they found in the US that there are clusters with autistic children in high radiation zones. So this is something which is, disturbing and eye-opening again, like I said. We need to start assessing this, and we need to start looking at it. When we start treating children with ASDs, treating people with cancer, limitation to microwave radiation is something I'm going to explain towards the end of this presentation because that is my expertise. I'm just trying to create awareness over here with this. So we worked with a fertility clinic, which was a very popular one. I think it's one of the top 10 clinics in India. It got acquired and became part of a larger group also. One of the things we saw was that they had 3 clinics, and one of their clinics had extremely low success rate. So we did the assessment in all the 3 clinics, and we found that the clinic which had, we didn't know that this clinic had a lower success rate, but we found that where they have the actual lab where, they do the fertility, exercises, etc., had a cell tower close by and had high radiation there. And that was the clinic which had the lowest success rate. And what we did was we asked them to take one person who was coming to this clinic, who had come twice already and failed twice. We asked them to take that person to the other clinic and see if it can work. And lo and behold, it was successful in the other clinic. So sperm motility is something which is affected by microwave radiation. There is no doubt about that. There are multiple studies which demonstrate that. And we have found that even women, have found it difficult to conceive if they're exposed to high levels of radiation. One of the studies which we read some time back said that there is a DNA degradation in the female eggs when exposed to microwave radiation. And this is something which can lead to children with autism. So that is something also which had come out. But at this point, I can just say that fertility can be, if you are, in the fertility industry and you're looking at helping people conceive, one of the ways you can improve success is by managing radiation exposure for them. And this is especially true for people in industries like software development, etc., where they have exposure to microwave radiation for professional reasons. And they have exposure to microwave radiation 18 to 20 hours a day, and in many cases 24, because many people actually have Wi-Fi routers in their bedroom. They may not have their children or their spouses in their bedroom, but they'll have a Wi-Fi router in their bedroom. That's how the world is today. So again, lot of studies regarding fertility and microwave radiation. Men are especially at risk because we tend to keep our cell phones either in our top pocket, or we keep it in our hand, right, in the middle areas. So we are actually more susceptible to microwave radiation attacks. And we feel that it's very important to understand and also have certain lifestyle changes. So tumors, sleep disorders, anxiety, depression, ADD, ADHD, this is proven. This gamut, especially for children, is proven. If any of you are looking at these, first thing you need to do is look outside your window and look inside your bedroom. Where is your Wi-Fi router inside your house? Where is the cell tower outside your house? Once you assess these 2 things, you'll be able to plan your life better and avoid these symptoms immediately. We found that by reducing the radiation exposure, many of these things can be reversed. So I'll talk a little bit about what we do as a company, LiveSAFE. We have a 3-fold engagement with you. We assess the radiation in your homes, in your offices, in your schools, in your hospitals. We've worked with multiple schools, homes, Bosch, Siemens, Rakuten. A lot of them are our clients. We've done close to 1,000 homes. We assess the radiation. If the radiation is high, we find out where it's coming from. And in our assessment itself, we tell you what needs to be done to reduce that radiation. If there is some protection required, we have patented products which we install in your home, office, school, or hospital to reduce this exposure. And once we do the installation, same place, same meter, we show you the difference. So many times it's basically a film which goes on your wall. So if you open the window, the radiation jumps up. If you close the window, the radiation comes down again. More importantly, we educate you. We tell you how to live safely with your devices, how to use your devices correctly. So I have actually spoken to close to 50,000 children across government public schools in Karnataka, because we found that because of the nuclear families set up these days, small children are given mobile phones by the mother when she's cooking, cleaning the house, etc., to keep them occupied. And this is really affecting them. There's a Swedish study which says that if you have 10 years of exposure to high levels of radiation, your chances of getting cancer go up astronomically. So we need to do this as prevention for our society to ensure that we don't have a cancer epidemic in the future, in the very near future. So most importantly, like I said, we guarantee safe spaces after our installations, and we have over 1,000 such guaranteed spaces across India. So this is just one of our case studies. The readings are in microwatts per meter squared. So the 1,000 is considered to be safe as per the Building Biology Institute. You can see the numbers. The numbers are actually astronomical, and this is not the worst. We've done houses where the radiation has been 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 1,000 is considered safe. Now, after this, after our installations, this is what the number was. We've brought it down significantly. And the caveats for our installation are two. One, no change in aesthetics of your house. Two, no drop in communication in your house. So your cell phones will work as well as they did before the installation, after the installation. And we guarantee safe areas. This is something which is very important, and this is something which we always do. How do you use technology? One, distance from your cordless phone. Everybody has a cordless phone in their home today. I want you to understand that we in India have been given lower quality chipsets from a banned technology called DECT, D-E-C-T. So even when your cordless phone is on its carriage, it's actually radiating 30 to 40,000 microwatts per meter squared. It is 30 to 40 times what is considered safe, your exposure near it. Keep it away from you. Even just 3-4 feet away from your body makes a significant difference. So keeping your cell phone on your body is extremely dangerous. There are studies in the US which have shown women who carried cell phones in their bras got breast tumors. And the shape of the tumor was like the cell phone antenna. The antenna which you have is a very weird shaped antenna. So the tumor shape was very weird. So that's a smoking gun. It doesn't get any more conclusive than that. So please don't keep your devices on your body. Another affliction we see, especially in middle class India, is this obsession with Bluetooth. Everybody have their the pods, AirPods in their ear. It's like almost like they were born with it. Please remember that you're not born with it. You don't need it. You need to be conscious of how you're using it and when you're using it. See, Bluetooth is extremely dangerous. It's 2.4 gigahertz, 2.5 gigahertz. It's a high radiation device. It is actually very close to your body and affecting you. So tumors in the salivary gland, tumors in the head have been directly associated with Bluetooth radiation. The first payout in a class action suit in the US for radiation has been for Bluetooth devices. So please be aware. And AirPods are even more dangerous because pods communicate with each other through low frequency radiation, which passes through your brain. Nobody has understood the effect of that. No studies have been conducted to study the effect of that. You need to be aware of that as well. I'm running out of time. I'm just going to quickly run through the others. When you have to give your cell phone, I'm a father. I have to give my cell phone to my children. What I do is I download everything and put it on airplane mode and give it to them. Whether it's a movie, a song, a game, whatever it is. If you put it on airplane mode, the antennas are off. So your child's exposure to radiation comes down significantly. It's almost zero. So that's the best way to do it. I'm also going to talk to you about something a little more specific. Today, your Wi-Fi routers come in 3 bands. You have band 1, band 2, band 3. Band 1 is 2.4 gigahertz. Band 2 is 5 gigahertz. Band 3 is 6 gigahertz. 5 and 6 gigahertz have been shown to cause a lot of damage for your body. There are studies which have conclusively proven that, and that is the reason why A lot of the 5G rollout has been slowed down in many countries. Please stick to band 1. It gives you good range. It gives you good enough speed. You don't require band 2 or 3. Go to your Wi-Fi settings, set it to band 1 only. It can save your exposure by as much as 70% if you do that. This is a very simple exercise. Wi-Fi router should not be in your bedroom, should not be in an area where you spend a lot of time. It should be at least 30 feet away from where you sit, or one wall plus 10 feet difference. Please remember that. So the issue with microwave radiation is, if you're too close to it, it's dangerous. If you're too far away from it, it's dangerous. So you might have observed that your cell phone, when you're in a low signal zone, your cell phone battery gets exhausted very quickly. The reason for that is the phone antenna, which is on the back of the phone, needs to transmit at a much higher signal strength to actually reach the tower. So that drains your battery, but not only that, that also affects your brain. So it shows that when you talk on your cell phone, you find that your ear gets warm. That's actually the microwave radiation of your cell phone antenna cooking your ear. Now, what cooks your ear actually goes into your brain, and 15% of your brain is affected by the microwave radiation. When you're using your cell phone, we recommend you to use it with speakers or with a wired hands-free kit. Now, when you keep your phone on your cell phone in your car, please, everybody, when you go on a long distance trip, everybody's playing on their phone, everybody's using their phone. Don't. A car is an extremely dangerous place to use your cell phone. Please keep it on your dashboard with it facing face down. That's the only way to use it safely inside a car. You can put it on Bluetooth to your, or connect it to your music system. Microwave ovens are extremely dangerous. We found that some ovens are leaking so much radiation that they can cause miscarriages in pregnant women if they're in the vicinity. Please be aware of your microwave. Go outside the room when your microwave is on. And most importantly, your body tells you warning signals when you are exposed to high radiation. Please be aware. Please watch out. You get headaches. You'll get headache in the same place at the same location if you're in a if you're in a high radiation zone. You get pain at the base of your neck, hissing sound in your ear. These are all ways that your body is telling you, please get me out of here, get me away from this radiation. Listen to your body, be sensitive. Thank you so much for your time. I enjoyed talking to you. Please, I'm open for questions if I have the time.
Yes, we do have 2 minutes. Just give me a second. Okay. So thank you so much, Neehar. This is such an important topic and often ignored, missed, given that today we are bombarded with so much of chronic conditions, be it autoimmunity, autism is on the rise, and what you've spoken about has such an important role to play. So thank you for sharing all that information with us. I'll pick up 1 or 2 questions. There are questions about microwave. Is that equally unsafe? Do we need to avoid that?
So again, microwave radiates, most of them leak. As your microwave oven gets older, it starts leaking more and more. Switch it on, get out of the place, number 1. In terms of food quality degradation, I'm not qualified to speak about that. I just know that the radiation is dangerous when it is on. Go outside the kitchen, stay about 30 feet away, you should be all right.
The food quality, of course, it does degrades the quality of nutrition of that food.
There are other people in this August forum who can speak on that better than I can.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So just to give our audience some idea, let's say if someone wants to kind of, just revamp, and kind of protect their house. So what's the timeline like, once your team comes and visits and then, setting up whatever, what would be the timeline like?
So we're doing this as a service mainly because each house is different. There's no fixed template. So what we do is when we come there, we assess what the sources of radiation are, how many sources are there, and what needs to be done. And we give you, a recommendation as well as a timeline in terms of what needs to be done. Typically, we're done within 5 days to a week for a house. So the offices take a little longer.
All right. And you provide this service across India?
At this point, we're Bangalore based and we do it across India. But, we're planning to open offices in Delhi and Bombay in the next 3 to 6 months.
Okay. You mentioned about the cancer cluster. Do you want to mention the name of that cluster in Bangalore?
In Bangalore, it is very close to the Vikram Hospital. So
Okay.
this is something which is there. I mean,
Okay.
there are just across that also, about a kilometer down the road, there are 4 towers, and there is a cancer
Mhm.
cluster in between. So it's multiple. So the clusters of
Yes.
between 20 to 30 are very common across all big cities. We are interested in the ones which are 100 plus, and there are quite a few of them as well.
Right. Okay. So Neha, there are a few questions in the chat. If you can stay back for some
I will.
time and answer them in the chat, that would be great.
Sure.
And thank you again for sharing all the insights with us.
Pleasure.
Thank you.